Hey everybody, it's Nicole here, and I owe you a few videos and possibly a new segment coming later. Anyways, so I have two book reviews today, and the first one is called Winter People by Jennifer Mahon. If you'd seen one of my previous videos, Book Look, I had mentioned that I was going to read it, and then if you then followed along my videos, I never got to it, and then I started reading other books that I hadn't even had at the time. So basically when I first got this, I had a gift card to some store, I can't remember, that had books in it, and I was looking, I think at the time I decided randomly that I was going to read The Maze Runner after about 4 or 5 visits to the store, and of course, by the time I decided I was going to read The Maze Runner, then they only had the second book, so on a whim, I kind of picked up this book, and it sounded interesting, and then I got home. I read through some other books first, and then I picked this one up and wasn't interested in it anymore, and yada yada yada. Finished all my other books, realized I only had this one, so I figured it was time to read it. And then when I started reading it, I remembered why I picked it up in the first place, and it is really awesome. So, fast forward, now that we finished the book, it's kind of cool because this is set in West Hall, Vermont, which is obviously not super close to where I am, but it's only like a few states away, which is pretty cool. And it's creepy, it's chilling, and it flips between two eras in history and lives. And it takes characters that you at first may not see being having anything to do with the book, and then it ties them in together, which is really cool. So one of the main characters is this girl Ruthie. She's about 18, 19. She, unlike most of her peers at this age, is stuck at home instead of off at college because her family kind of couldn't afford it. And, they'll figure it out next year. So she takes care of her little sister, who is kind of it's one of those sibling relationships where she was way older by the time they got pregnant with her little sister. So, it's Ruthie and Fawn and their mother. Their father died when Ruthie was maybe a few years younger than she is now. And they live in this historical house, and there's this ancient, urban legend that this woman who lived there was skinned to death, or skinned alive and died, and that she haunts the area and the town in general. And then it's kind of interesting because we flip back to that time and we start learning about this woman in question and what really happened. So you flip back and forth. It's a mystery. It's really creepy at times. There were definitely moments where I had to make a rule for myself that I would not read the book past a certain hour of the night because I'm one of those people that is not good with horror movies or anything like that. So it's definitely got its creep aspect. You also feel bad for the characters. There's some danger to it. There's definitely some crazy people in it as well. Just really interesting, and this mystery that connects the two periods in time. You're connecting this woman who was skinned alive, and her family was considered to have a witch in it, and people were afraid of witches, but at the same time they needed help from them and all this stuff. And then you're connecting, today, where it's not like that at all. We know the truth behind that, and it's 21st century life. And it's just really interesting to see how the time zones connect. And then you notice along the way when they flip back and forth, they leave gaps in the story, and you're just like, what is going on? But the main action starts because Ruthie's mother goes missing, and it's like, what happened? And her going missing ties into all of this stuff between the two centuries. And there are other characters that come into play, of course, that I mentioned earlier that tie into the story. One's trying to find out what happened to her husband, what was he thinking. This other woman's trying to figure out the big mystery behind her brother and sister's brother's death, I believe. So it's a lot of mystery, it's a lot of creepy, it's a lot of supernatural kind of thinking. And then you kind of have to figure out, is it really supernatural? Are there just plausible explanations for all of this? But definitely interesting. I would definitely give it a 3 to 4 on my 5-point scale. That doesn't really matter in the real world. So, again, Winter People, Jennifer McMahon. If you like creep factor, if you like reading about West Hall, Vermont, if you like mysteries and connecting the past with the present, pretty much a book for you. So definitely go check it out and let me know what you think. All right, bye guys.